This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Is the end of the world as we know it really such a bad thing? Well, this is what we're going to be talking about this hour with our guest. His name is Dr. Kumar Sharma, and his website is www.ageofanada.net. That's ageofanada.net. And he's also the author of The Age of Anada. Now, first of all, tell me something, Doctor. First of all, welcome to the X-Zone. And is the end of the world as we know it really such a bad thing?
Thank you, Rob. Glad to be on your show. Delighted. And the short answer is no, I think it can be the greatest thing that can ever happen to us.
Now, why
the end of the world as we know it?
Well, the end of the world, isn't there a lot of misinterpretation when it comes to the prophecies, the Mayan calendar and such, that really the Mayans, for one thing, have never said the world was going to end on December the 21st, 2012. And it seems that a lot of people are looking at the end of the world as a simple way out.
Yes. I think there are different prophecies or predictions with regard to the year 2012 and the winter solstice, December 21st. The way I have understood it and explained it in the Age of Ananda is that it signifies the beginning of a turn in our evolutionary spirit, and the speed of evolution picks up. And we get into what I have called the age of solar consciousness. We shall go beyond our earth-centric, material, selfish level of being that we are in today to have a unity of being as a planetary civilization. And then beyond that, looking at the sun not only as a physical object, but as a spiritual being. And this is a realization that people are reporting from around the world out of the blue, the solar consciousness. So I think the beginning of that era of solar consciousness, our communion with the sun, not only as a physical object in the sky, but as the mediator of our evolution, is what we have in store for us. So it's a beautiful beginning to get to a higher level of being, bliss, and joy, to evolve in this direction of solar consciousness. That is the age we are getting into. So that's a wonderful thing to look forward to.
What is the fascination with the end of the world prophecies with people?
Well, I think it has to do with a view of the world in linear time, which means there is a beginning and an end. And so then you have to figure out, okay, what is going to happen at the end? Who's going to come and what kind of war or terror or pestilence or earthquakes will finish off the whole shebang? And you can look at any number of sci-fi movies or any others, and all kinds of imaginations play into having that kind of apocalyptic or dystopian end of the world run. But that is to miss more nuanced view of the universe as engaged in cycles of being and becoming and evolving and dissolving. So if we have that kind of a cyclical nature of time as opposed to a linear nature, then there is no real end to anything. There is only an end of a time or a phase or a yuga, as we call it, and the beginning of another. So we are really at that kind of a transition between ages right now. So we don't have to think of it as an end. I mean, not the end of the world as we know it completely in terms of the physical world, but in terms of the way of thinking about the world and how we live in the world. So a mental transformation from driven to our physical needs and taking care of only ourselves to a more broader perspective of the world and the beings around us as a collective consciousness evolving together. So I think that is how one should understand this age. We are in a most glorious time.
All right, Doctor, stand by. You and I have to take our first commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Exo Nation, my name is Rob McConnell, and I'll be back in 2 minutes as we continue from our studios here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
This is Johanna Carroll, host of Dialogue with Divinity on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. While walking along Kaanapali Beach in Maui this past year, I kept discovering all these shells and coral in the shape of hearts. My dialogue with Divinity was very simple. Do you want me to do a retreat to heal people's hearts in Maui next year? And of course, the answer was yes. As a master spiritual teacher, I am offering you a neat retreat called Rise, May 8th through the 12th, 2017, and the chance of a lifetime to rest at a 5-star resort for 5 days and experience a spiritual renewal of your heart and soul. Kaanapali is one of the top 5 beaches in the world. This stunning resort has undergone a $40 million renovation. I walked the entire property, checked out the room choices on your behalf, and I must say it is stunning. Our conference room faces the ocean with sliding glass doors. Maui is known as Mother Maui because it is a soft, gentle, healing energy. In the embrace of Mother Maui, you will feel yourself rising from the limitations of an ordinary life to an extraordinary journey of peace, bliss, and harmony. A greater sense of clarity. Our Rise retreat ignites renewal in the sacred elements of air, water, earth, fire, and wind. There's plenty of free time to enjoy all that Maui has to offer. A small deposit is required now to reserve your space, as this retreat, it will sell out. For more details, please go to johannacarroll.com and register today. Aloha, and I'll see you in mystical Maui.
Explanation, we're asking our guest this hour, is the end of the world as we know it really such a bad thing? First of all, Doctor, how do we know that all the hype about the world coming to an end, metaphysically, spiritually, or physically, at this time in our Earth's existence is really true and it's just not made up?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to live through the day to see what happens. Do meteors come or comets, and do we all evaporate, or do we wake up and say, hey, what happened, or nothing happened, and all the prophets are proved wrong again? I think that kind of a dramatic revelation of an end game playing out or not, I think I'm not getting into that, because what really I think we need to focus on is what does it mean if we take it that we are beings of light and energy and love, etc., of a divine nature embodied in this life, and that our being on this planet Earth and in the solar system and so on is not accidental, but part of some evolutionary script being playing out.
But that sounds like a lot of New Age mumbo-jumbo, Doctor. It doesn't sound like anything that's based in science.
Well, I would suggest that science has nothing to do with this knowledge. It is not its domain to pass judgment on this, because science can only focus on the externals. And we are talking about spiritual knowledge here, and science has no business to pass value judgments on a domain it has no clue about.
But how do we know spirituality is real, it exists, and not just made up by a bunch of shepherds sitting in a field somewhere way back when?
Well, I'll tell you how. Very simple, Rob. If one were to meditate sincerely for a little bit of time till practice takes root, with regard to looking into the inner nature of who we are. That is what it all comes down to, self-knowledge. That is where it all begins. So one doesn't have to go looking to a shepherd in the mountains, or look to an ancient scripture that somebody said something about in some mumbo-jumbo language. No. Sit down today and know who you are as a pure being of consciousness, and then everything else falls in place, and you will not have to worry about what science says, because science has not made it its business to know what is within ourselves. So why should science know anything?
So what happens comes December the 22nd, 2012, and December the 23rd, December the 24th, going into the year 2013, 2014, and there's been nothing that's happened. What does this do to all the New Age genre that's been popping up and talking about the end of the world, talking about spirituality, talking about the changes that are coming? Isn't this going to be a black eye for New Age spiritualism?
Well, that remains to be seen. We still have about 7-8 months for whatever is building up to play out.
I'm just asking you. I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Not to sidestep my question. I'm asking you, what happens if nothing happens?
Okay. Well, I'm saying that nothing dramatic of the kind that people expect will happen will happen. Whatever will happen will be internal changes in some people who decide to tune into this phenomenon. See, this is what it is. We are beings of electricity. Neurons are firing. There are biochemical processes which are electrical in nature. And we are aligned with the energy of the earth also in a physical sense through these fields of energy and so on. And similarly with the sun. So there is an alignment happening around that time frame where the earth, the sun, and center of the Milky Way are in the same line of sight, if you want to look at it in terms of an astronomical projection.
The galactic alignment. So you're talking about the galactic alignment.
That's correct,
okay.
Yes. So now, purely in terms of the astronomy or the astrophysics, we'll say big deal, okay, so what? But if one believes that there is a divinity and a spiritual component even to material objects, and the more material they are, the more there is a form of consciousness embodied in them. And the sun is one such brilliant orb in the sky, which is not only a fireball of fusion and energy, it is also equally a body of consciousness. And the sun not only influences and shapes our life, and without the sun we would be dead tomorrow, but it also mediates our evolution through subtle energies that come in from there, energies and other forces. And if we know how to tune into these frequencies, you will take off into higher orbits of consciousness and evolution. And if you don't, you don't. And even if those who do prepare and align and are ready for the takeoff happening then because of the physical alignment as well. And if you're spiritually tuned, everything gets kick-started. So those will undergo changes. They will be transformed in terms of speeding up their evolution in the direction that I talk about in the age of Ananda, which is we as human beings are now getting into a stage of conscious evolution. And the solar activity this year, your show is called the X Zone. Do you know that X-class solar flares are the most powerful flares, and a bunch of them have already come, and a whole wave of them are expected in the next year as the sun reaches a top of its sunspot cycle. So these are not random phenomena to be just looked at in terms of will it disrupt the power supply or my GPS. The sun is throwing at us all kinds of things, and for those who know how to tune into those frequencies, and you would be surprised. There is any number of groups you can find on the website and in real life who are organized around the solar convergence and solar alignment. And so to say that nobody's doing it or everybody's expecting apocalyptic endgames is not true. Many people are saying we will take advantage of the alignment and the forces at that time. It's like we are in a magnetic field, and if you know how to align yourself with the field, you flow with the field instead of fighting it. So you evolve with the evolutionary flow with the planet aligned with the sun and the galaxy. So we have to understand that we are not just blobs of matter that lives one brief life and dies. We are all beings of light that evolve from life to life and from plane to plane. So that is what is really happening with the solar extra activity and the bounties that are being showered on us. Every day in the newspaper there is something new about solar activity and all kinds of aurora borealis breaking out in unexpected places. The sun is saying, pay attention guys, I'm here and I'm not just giving you energy, and we need to use the sun's physical energy to solve our energy problems, but that's one side. On the other side, the spiritual vibrations that are being just showered on us, if we knew how to breathe it in, we are riding sunbeams into the next level of evolution.
What happens if nothing happens? Let me get back to this again.
Yeah. This will happen to some people.
Is this going to be an actual thing, or is this going to be mind over matter?
Well, this will be spiritual breakthrough. Let us put it that way for what it is. This is not about the mind. Let me clarify that the mind is not the same as consciousness, and that spirituality should not be mistaken with spirits and seances and mediums and such. Spirituality is the science of consciousness. What is consciousness? It is our fundamental reality, nature, and being, the self or the soul or the Atma. It is also the universal reality, which is called Brahman in some of the in the Vedas, for instance. Brahman. What is that? Pure consciousness. That is the nature of the ultimate truth, and we are all beings of that, is what we have to realize. That is spirituality. Nothing else.
How does spirituality differ from one's religious beliefs?
You don't need religion to be spiritual, as many people like to say these days, and partly that's true. One could take religion as a preparation for spirituality, or one could say religion is all mumbo-jumbo and side-skirt completely, and go to spirituality. This is like going to the PhD program without going to kindergarten, but many people do that, and perhaps good luck to them. But my point is spirituality and religion are different things. Religion is about your connection with a God, however conceived. And spirituality is about your connection with your own inner self, which is your consciousness. So the two are very different. You can focus on self-knowledge without getting caught up with God.
So one has nothing to do with the other, but if that is the case, wouldn't everyone on this planet see the the apparent or the believed importance of what is going to happen on December the 21st, 2012, instead of just a minority of people?
Well, that is unfortunate that in this age and time, when such great opportunity awaits those who want to wake up to these phenomena and prepare for them in terms of the take of the solar consciousness and the rest. For the rest, unfortunately, people are in a kind of a haze of delusion, caught up in a workaday life which is increasingly stressful. Weekends you relax in whatever way you can, and thank God it's Friday mentality of working a work-life career that people don't find satisfying is one thing. So they seek relief in entertainment and sports and shopping and whatever. So the world is completely externally focused, and the media and advertisers would have it that way, so that you are numbed into day-to-day thrill-seeking or just relief from boredom. Nobody is looking for spiritual knowledge, unfortunately. Nobody cares why we are here and what's going on around us.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Our guest is Dr. Kumar Sharma. The question is the end of the world as we know it really such a bad thing? In my books, it is. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Dr. Kumar S. Sharma is our special guest. He studied physics and math in India before earning his doctorate at MIT's Sloan School. He worked in research and developed and as a software entrepreneur for 25 years. Along the way, he followed the teachings of the great 20th century Indian yoga mystic, philosopher, and poet, Sri. How do you pronounce that name right, sir?
Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo.
Okay. Now, I understand something happened to you in 2001 that changed your life. And I was wondering if you could tell us about that.
Yeah. I'll give you a few brief details and save the rest for some other time. I have not divulged too much of that in public. To briefly answer your question, that morning I was there by the waters, by the banks of the river Ganga, which is very holy for Hindus. Mm-hmm. And I had partaken of dipping in the water and meditating on the sun. And then during meditation soon after my morning sun routine, I had always been wondering about how the universe is manifested out of this pure consciousness that we talked about earlier. And I got some very deep insights of the nature of what one might call spiritual knowledge or revelation that answered those questions. And that got me started on to what finally led to the book. So it was that kind of knowledge from within, we call it. It is revealed knowledge that comes in a state of meditation, and I happened to be properly tuned that day for this to happen.
How does your belief in spirituality conflict, or how does it get along with your scientific side?
Well, you know what? I find that there is no problem between science and spirituality the way I understand both. Science is the quest for knowledge of the world through empirical collection of data and testing and validation and probing. It is the way of knowing the world from the outside in. So there are objects to be known, and we go probing and we look inside, and there you find something. So that is one way of knowledge that is called the scientific method. This is good for getting to know about what atoms are and what cells are and what particles are and what galaxies are. And I have studied and appreciated and continue to admire how much we can know about all this sitting here, about what's happening in some black hole or at the farthest end of the galaxy. The human mind is astonishing, and the scientific knowledge we have is also equally astounding, and we take it for granted. I am a great admirer of that tradition, so I have nothing against science.
In your
spirituality.
In your opinion, what are some of the everyday simple things that people can do to begin their own spiritual evolution?
Oh, that's a great question. I think the first thing we have to do is cultivate the awareness that we are not the body or the mind, that the real I or the self or the being is pure awareness or a witness to all the activity that is going on through us. If we cultivate this awareness about who we are as beings of pure consciousness within us, in the self, this is spiritual knowledge at its deepest. It is the first step, and there are other things one can do after, but this is the immediate goal of spiritual knowledge and evolution. I would say everybody needs to get over this fixation that I am the body. You are not the body because you can say this body. So already the I is dissociated from the body. Similarly, you can think about yourself thinking. So you are not the thoughts. You are the thinker of the thoughts, and even the thinker beyond the thinker, just the witness to the thoughts. This is the first step. And this also is not just about who you are. You also realize that the same consciousness is playing itself out through everybody around you. So that immediately gives us a reason to be kind to each other, because we are all beings of the same ocean of consciousness. We are different bubbles in that ocean. If we cultivate this kind of a knowledge and awareness about who we are, and everybody else being same bubbles of foam in the ocean of consciousness, we are all divine creatures of that bliss and joy, that is that consciousness. Our life becomes joyous, and we stop fighting, we stop competing. Life becomes joyous in the living in the moment.
Tell me, do you think that we're alone in the universe? Are we the only planet that sustains life as we know it?
Oh, not at all. Why should we have that arrogance? There is life everywhere, abounding, because we know now that it's amazing to me that scientists are constantly being surprised. They'll first say, oh, there aren't other planetary systems similar to ours. Somehow they'll conclude that. And then 5 years later, some Magellan or some new telescope goes somewhere and boom, before you know it, wow, there are planets out there. Mm-hmm. What is this? Of course, everything you see here is infinitely elsewhere. So yes, there is life elsewhere, life of all forms elsewhere, and not only that, life is also there in dimensions beyond the physical, in higher forms of beings which are not so material as we think of them. So yes, life is profuse and prolific all around the universe.
How does taking care of this planet relate to spiritualism?
I think we are now beings of great angst, and we think of dystopian futures. We are disconnected from nature. Mm-hmm. Our food is the most toxic in terms of its effect on the planet and on ourselves. I have to point out that food comes with karma. Every bit of whatever we put in our mouth has a trail of karma from the land where it comes, the chemicals that were put in, the farmers that were exploited, the middlemen who looted, and the later people who adulterated that food and then processed it and put it on your table, and the cook and all the rest involved. So food carries karma. If people ate with proper awareness of that, I think we would be very kind to the planet, and we would be very careful about what we eat. That would be one act of restoring the earth. And without the earth being restored, we are not going to be happy beings to think of spiritual evolution. So the first order of business is to take care of the mess we have made on the planet, which means an earth consciousness, warriors, spiritual warriors for the earth to be restored and rejuvenated and stop the plundering that is incessantly going on. Without doing that, what are we going to do? Escape from the earth? No. Sri Aurobindo told us that we have to divinize our life on this planet, in this body, in this lifetime. So we are not going to take off on spaceships and colonize Mars. Not immediately anyway. It might be in the cards maybe 300 years from now. But for now, our path is we need to get our act together at the earth level in terms of our relationships and taking care of the earth as stewards, and not at looking to mine more gold and oil and lumber and timber.
Do you really think that we can still save the planet, or have we done too much to turn everything around?
Well, we are at a cusp, Rob. We are at a cusp where we are given the choice now to wake up. See, we have to understand our current status as Homo sapiens. We are juveniles in the chain of evolution. Sri Aurobindo said man is a transitional being, meaning that we are not the pinnacle of human evolution. We are purely mental beings with a lot of physical gravitational pull to the physical body and the attractions of the world around us. We are mental beings. We are now learning to think, but we are still drawn by the physical. And beyond us is the spiritual. So we have to evolve from the mental being to the supramental. So that is the trajectory of evolution that yogis like Sri Aurobindo and the Mother and others have shown us. So we are not here to just sit here and just do a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week and relax in the weekends, and before you know it, your life is over and pass on. That is to miss the whole joy of our being here, which is to evolve consciously. Unless we do that, we will destroy our culture and civilization along with the planet, and we'll be written off as a failed experiment in the footnotes of the evolution in this part of the solar system. End of story. Evolve or die, as somebody in the book put it in the Age of Ananda.
So basically, what is our purpose on this planet? Why are we here?
We are here to know ourselves primarily as beings of consciousness through this process of spiritual discovery and knowledge through meditation, which anybody can do. So it is not mumbo jumbo, because if you sit and do the due diligence, the experience will come. The knowledge reveals itself. It is luminous knowledge. I don't have to tell you, you are aware of yourself. We are aware of who we are, except that this awareness is mixed up with our body and our mind. If we extract the body and the mind and look within, that is that pure awareness. This is common to all of us, so we don't need to argue about that. And we have to just discover that and use that as the basis for self-culture in terms of how we relate with ourselves and the planet. And that is how we have to evolve. That is conscious evolution. So we are at that time. So unless we do that, what are we going to do? We will just kill ourselves trying to find a few jobs that are not there.
But if you don't have a job, you can't pay your bills. If you can't pay your bills, you can't live. You can't buy food. You can't pay the hydro. So isn't it a necessity that we take care of ourselves in that reality first and then spirituality?
Well, I would put it this way. Yes, for a lot of people, without a job and a paycheck, it's a difficult existence.
Sure.
They don't have savings or things, the luxury of being unemployed. So I am not addressing people in that kind of a need situation. But that being said, I am saying that a lot of jobs are, people are in situations where they are not happy with their jobs, but they continue doing work because they don't know anything else to do. And they may not really have a need to be working, or they could work less. But now people work as if it's a habit. I think people work too much. This obsession with 24/7 work and jobs is suicidal. We should work less and have more leisure. The Europeans had a good model, but now the American model is going there and killing that. This work-driven, 24/7 competitive rat race, who's having a good time doing any of this? You tell me. And why do we continue perpetuating the insanity? We've got to call the bluff and get off this crazy bandwagon.
But if you get off the bandwagon, you fail.
No, you don't fail. You create your own community of living differently.
Oh, so
And
we
if
should
you
all
go and
we should all
look
go back to
around.
being hippies, living in communes, and holding
Well,
hands and
that's
saying
not a bad
kumbaya.
idea. Maybe at that time it didn't work out, but a more mature approach to commune living, community living, joyous evolutionary groups, and sustainable societies will be the way of the future.
But isn't it saying that we're by shirking off our responsibilities that we do not appreciate what we have, and that without the responsibilities of working, getting a paycheck, paying your taxes, being part of society, that you're looking at a utopian existence that doesn't exist?
Well, I'm talking about an utopian existence that we used to have till recently, and it is within our grasp to recover if we don't let go of it totally in this obsession with the current world as a given. Why should it be a given that you have to fight for 3 days to take care of somebody who is sick? Why should people have to think of working forever because there is no medical insurance? Why should medical coverage in any country of the world be such a big deal? Where is the money going? And if you didn't have to worry about your day-to-day insurance, and if you are comfortable in terms of your immediate needs, you should consider working less and not more, and see how the remaining time you can contribute to society.
Oh, so
And I don't mean grandiose things. You do something for your community. Clean up the streets, plant some trees. I mean, everybody complains everything is a mess, but why? Because nobody cares. Why? Because they're busy working or entertaining themselves endlessly. I think this order of insanity has to change.
We started off on a philosophical, spiritual note, and we're heading into politics now.
Oh yeah, it's all interrelated. Why should we separate them? It's all in the flow.
Stand by. We've got to take our final break. Exxon Nation. The question asked earlier today is the end of the world as we know it such a bad thing, or really a bad thing? Well, I don't know. I kind of like the world the way it is. I think that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And in my experience, my many years' experience on this planet, if you don't take positive action, nothing comes. I'm sorry, I don't believe in the old ways. I believe in the new way, and that the only difference between a dream and reality is making it happen. I'll be back with our guest of this hour, Dr. Kumar Sharma, on the other side of this break. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be right back.
I have a call back for 866 negative K, nothing further, just see the
In over 36 years in law enforcement, I've learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, extraterrestrials, and UFOs, how we gather that evidence of their existence, preserve that same evidence, and present it to a court of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Come with me on a journey that seeks to prove with undisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Join me, Larry Lawson, host of the Paranormal Stakeout, coming to the X-Zone Broadcast Network. Check out the broadcast schedule for Paranormal Stakeout with yours truly, Larry Lawson, at www.xzbn.net. For more information about me, my travels, and my team, check out our website at www.paranormalfbi.com or join us on Facebook at Florida Bureau of Paranormal.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour, Dr. Kumar S. Sharma. He is the author of The Age of Ananda. His website is www.ageofanada.net. That's www.ageofananda.net. That's www.ageofananda.net. AGEOFANANDA.net. First of all, Doctor, thanks very much for joining us. It's been a good hour. I've thoroughly enjoyed my conversation with you. What would you like to leave the X-Zone Nation with tonight?
To continue on what we were talking about earlier, I think we have to rethink radically the basic question that you asked, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to recognize that we are not here to just pass through life briefly and just maximize our personal gain and be gone. That there is a purpose to our existence, and that knowledge comes after we know who we are as spiritual beings. So self-knowledge leads to knowledge of our purpose. And then we align ourselves with what we do and how we relate with the world in the light of that knowledge and that discovery of our purpose. Only then are we really conscious beings who are really contributing in a joyous way to the script of this unfolding universe. Otherwise, I think we will fail to capture the spirit of this special time where this discovery is waiting to be made because of the special solar influence that is the age of solar consciousness dawning. So I would say that people should wake up to the bliss of pure consciousness through the light of the sun. Think of the sun in whatever way you can and ponder what it might be and does for you. Meditate on the sun, and that will open the floodlights to all other kinds of beautiful things in this year of the sun.
Doctor, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure. Let our listeners know how they can get a copy of your book, and give them your website one more time, please.
Yes. The website is the three W's and then the title of the book, Age of Ananda, A-N-A-N-D-A, Ananda. So ageofananda.net. And I have there excerpts from the book that people can download or read, and also I've recently done some blog talk radios on what is consciousness and the special significance of this time, and the yoga of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. All of those are at the website. So I invite anybody interested to come there and take a look.
All right, sir. Thank you very
Rob.
much for joining us.
Being on your show, a delight.
Take care of yourself, sir. Exo Nation, once again, our guest this hour has been Dr. Kumar Sharma. He's the author of The Age of Ananda. Website, www.ageofananda.net. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past as the X-Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Once again, if you'd like to visit our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My name is Rob McConnell. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.